About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions, we'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow, we can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's be free with me. Be free. Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche, we're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow, we can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out, die with my own doubts.
Good morning, crafty friends. Who else was just dancing right there? I'm back here trying to move a little bit. I am so glad that you're here. If you don't know me, my name is Alicia, but most people call me Crafty Al, so you can definitely do that. I love to see everybody over there in the comments chatting and asking those questions already. I'm super excited to be here. I do see that many of you have already watched my presentation, so you know what it's about. But just real quickly, I am going to change my camera here and just give you a peek at it if you haven't yet. So you'll see here, I provided a printable where you can make 12 cards with just 3 pieces of 12 by 12 pattern paper. So if you haven't yet gotten a chance to watch my presentation yet, I hope you will do that soon. Let me know of any questions you have if you have seen it. I would love to answer those. Debbie J says, do you have an SVG for the design on your apron? Debbie J, very good question. I actually created this a couple weeks ago. I love it, by the way. And I am going to let my channel members, I will be providing it to them. So for their personal use. Ardith, what do you do other than sheet loads? I just make different kind of cards, but I will tell you the main focus on my channel is sheet load of cards, and it's probably what I'm most well known for. Yeah, but I make other cards too. They're not all, I don't mass produce all of my cards. I am getting more into using stencils. I'm trying to get a little messy with like alcohol inks and stuff, but if you've known me long from sheet load, you know I like structure. So sometimes that is a little hard for me, but I do like to try it out. Barb P, could you tell us how sheet load started for those new to the concept? Very good question, Barb. So decades, over a decade ago, I enjoyed one sheet wonders because you cut that one piece of pattern paper in different ways to get some different cards, but they all went together quickly. Well, I am a creature of habit. If I have one t-shirt I like, I have to buy it in all the colors. So I wanted to come up with a way to make the one sketch, but then make the most of your paper. And when I was coming up with names, so sheet load kind of sounds like something else that's not appropriate for a live here on YouTube. But since we use sheets of paper, I thought sheet load of cards would be fun. So maybe that answered some other questions. And I started it out originally in about 2007 as an e-zine. So it was still a PDF, but I gave it out on my blog, and it was more pages because my design team then, I would share the photos in the PDF. About 2009, I don't know if maybe I was getting ready to go back to work after I had my daughter, but I did close it down. And then when I started my YouTube channel, maybe a year or two into it, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to bring Sheetload of Cards back, but this time it'll be a video series. So almost 10 years after I shut it down, I restarted it back up here on YouTube. Hope that answers that question for you. That was a good one. Virginia says, does anyone maybe know what her Oh So Inspired series? They're great. Thank you, Virginia. So yes, one of the things, kind of like Ardith with her limes, I love to be inspired by other people. And I kind of think no matter your style or your level of craftiness or what you use, we can always be inspired by other people out there. So I do have a live series about twice a month where we make something live that's inspired by something else. And I recently started back up my Oh So Inspired collaboration, where myself and a team of creators, we share videos where we take that single inspiration piece and it changes each month, and we create something new based upon it in some way. So yeah, we'd definitely love for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. I know Erin has that link scrolling at the bottom. Corey, what is your favorite adhesive to use with thinner pattern paper? That's a good question. I actually ran into an issue just the other day. So my go-to is usually my ATG. Love this thing, but it's a pretty strong adhesive. And the other day I was doing a sheet load rewind, which will be up later today on my channel. And this was scrapbook paper from like a kit from Hobby Lobby, and it is thin like printer paper, and my ATG would wrinkle it. So in hindsight, I might have used some liquid glue on this. Maybe it wouldn't have torn it or kind of crinkled it so much. And oh, okay. Teresa, will I be selling my Crafty apron? Teresa, I will not. I'm always worried that the process I use might not make this very permanent. So I won't. But again, if you are a channel member, soon I will have the SVG so you can make your own. And since it does have all of the glitter, I don't know that it's something I could send out and have like a company make for me. Thank you though for asking. Ardith, where did that magnetic board behind you come from? Well, I saw an Ardith's live the other day. She has something similar. I think maybe hers are picture frames. So that is a cheap dry erase board that I got at Walmart during back to school time. I think it was like $20 for that whole big thing. And then I bought 12 by 24 magnets off of Amazon, and they were adhesive or sticky on the back. So I just put some on there, some I had to cut up. I do actually have a video for that on my channel. I think if you search for DIY magnetic or die storage wall, or yeah, something close to that, it should pop up for you. I'm actually going to make a note. I can share this on my community tab later if you want to check it out. That way you can find the direct link. Great question. Athena Cards and More. Do you ever use a sheet load card for a submission on Crafty? I probably wouldn't make a whole sheet load for Craft Roulette, which if you haven't checked that out, you should. But I have in the past when I was a guest, one of the options was to use the current sheet load layout. And I'm not sure if I did, but a lot of other people did use that. But normally, because it's so structured with how kind of crazy Craft Roulette could get, I could probably never fit all of the parameters into a sheet load of cards and have it work across. But the sketches would be great for it. Thank you. Ooh. Shani or Shani, I'm sorry. I hope I got it close. What benefits does joining your group have? I'm going to assume you mean channel memberships. So everybody who is a subscriber to my channel gets sheet load free every single month. You just have to watch the video that I post on the 1st to find out how to download it. I do have over 45 over there, I think I'm up to now. But if you're a channel member, you just have some extra perks. Like you don't have to go watch all those videos to find the links. You have direct access to a clickable file where you can see them. And then I do some lives with my channel members. So just other perks you can find on my channel if you want to check that out, or you can always email me. Thank you. Terry says, where can we download this special sheet load of cards? So Terry, my presentation just went live about 40 minutes ago. So if you go to my page on the Card Maker Success Summit, first of all, you'll want to watch the presentation there you go. You'll want to watch the presentation and I tell you how you're going to get it. What you'll have to do is click on the link that's provided on my presentation page, and then you'll sign up for an email list. And once you confirm that you're signed up for my mailing list, it will automatically take you to a page to get the printable. But you will need to make sure if you got the free ticket to the summit that you do it today, because you just have that 24 hours to do that. Yeah, thank you. Willie, can I use your patterns for pre-made card bases, or are they too small for pre-made? It depends how big your card bases are. If they are A2 size, they are perfect. I have done in the past some mini slimline and slimline sheet load of cards, but if they're a little bit bigger, maybe you could just make one, like maybe use some scraps to cut one of the cards and just center it on your bigger card base to see how it looks. I know that I have many international viewers who use different size papers. They figure it out somehow. At the end of the month, I have the Show Us Your Sheet Load video where I share viewer cards, and I do have some international subscribers who do change it for theirs, and somehow they're magical and figure that out. But yeah, you can always give it a try, right? Use up some of those scraps of pattern paper. Teresa, would you ever consider doing a follow-up video to show how you would use the scraps left over from each month's sheet load? I did used to try to do a series each month where I think I called it sheet load leftovers, and I would see what I could make. But for the last year or so, I've really been trying to be conscious about how much scrap is left over and trying to make it littler. And I do try to use it right away, which I usually do that by decorating the inside. So I'll show you this other set of cards that I made using the sheet load. So here, instead of using the circle, I used a circle, but I cut off the edges and tucked it behind. But the scraps, I try to use up on the inside, and that way I'm recycling as few as possible. Great question. All right, make sure to put those questions over in the chat. Oh, we have another one. Yay. Kyla McKay DeWald, what do you do with your cards once they're made? Well, my channel members, if you're in a certain level, I send you a handmade card with a note each month. And honestly, lately, I do try to make them more generic like this, like hello or just a note or sending hugs, so that I can send those out to my channel members. And even with my stash that I already had, I use up all the ones I make plus some each month. Now, the cards that I get in at the end of the month for Show Us Your Sheet Load, I collect all of those and then I will donate them somewhere. In the past, my mom would help me by taking them to local retirement center or for her church card ministry. But I'm trying to find a place local where I can set something up for maybe a retirement center where the people who live there can get cards for free to send out. So I'm working on that. Great question. All right. P-Pin Zone, I do not have a cutting machine. Could you make your apron design available in a PDF as well to channel members? We can talk about that. If you're a channel member, go ahead and send me an email at the special channel members only email address. Yeah, thank you. Brenda G says, do you have a machine like a Cricut and do this process on one of those? Any suggestion for someone who doesn't own dies, stencils, or stamps? Well, I will tell you that most of my sheet load, now this one was special where it needed a circle, but even then you could leave that off. I try to make most of mine so you can cut them with your trimmer and they're either square or rectangle pieces. Another thing, you could print out something like a circle on a piece of paper and use that as a template and cut around it. But I don't usually use my electronic cutters for sheet load because for me, it would take more time to get it set up and worry about it. And if it fills like the whole 12 inches, then my cutter is not going to cut to the edge. I hope that answered that question. Oh, wait, there's something about stamps. Print out your sentiments. The good thing, I think, with sheet load is, if you have some pattern paper and a printer and a trimmer you would need, you can usually make them. So even if you don't have all the stamps and dies and ink colors, I think you can probably give it a try. I hope that helped. Athena Cards and More. Do you have a Facebook group? I do, Athena. It's mostly what I use to post promo stuff for myself, but there is an album section, and I have an album for each of the past sheet loads where members can upload their cards to it. So there is some inspiration there. So you could go back and look for a past issue of sheet load and get inspired and share your own there as well. Thank you. Deva, I know I got that right. Hi, Deva. What is your favorite weight of vellum to use when stamping an embellishment? Well, I have 3 weights of vellum, and I have a 17 pound, a 36 pound, and a 27 pound. Now, originally, I wanted the 17 pound, just for layers, and I wanted the 36 pound for card bases because I love to make clear cards and vellum card bases. But I have found the 28 pound, which was a fluke, they actually gave me a discount on because somebody had returned it or something, is my favorite. It's got a little more heft, maybe like a heavyweight pattern paper. So you can still do stuff on it like stamp with stays on, but then you can still see that paper behind it. Hope that helped. James Reniker, what is your go-to liquid adhesive? I am trying to use up my art glitter glue. I still have a little bit of that left. I do put mine in one of those little fine tip bottles. Now, once my art glitter glue is out, I've heard great things about Barely Arts glue, so I think that's my next purchase because my local scrapbook store does sell that, so I could go right there and get some. But I didn't used to like liquid glue, but I have been enjoying it lately. Thank you. All right, Kathy Hildreth, have you done cards for Cubs? I have not, but my friend Karen, just maybe a week or 2 ago, kind of told me about it. And then on the kickoff party, I think I heard Brandy talk about it. So I'm definitely going to look into it because it seems like a great cause. Let me know over in the chat if you guys know of Cards for Cubs and have sent anything in. Thank you. Lynn, I'm just going to go with Lynn. Sorry. Lynn H says, did you make your earrings? I did not. One of the teachers at the school I used to work at showed these on her Facebook group. I'm like, I need those. But yeah, I love them. They're clear. I love clear stuff and rainbows. So they've got rainbow glitter in there. Yeah, thank you. Kath F, do you always put your sentiment on the front when you make the card, or do you have some sentiments you can add when the occasion arises? Great question. So when I am making my sheet load of cards for the videos, I do go ahead and put a sentiment on them to make them complete. Now, in the past, I have given away sets where I will stamp the sentiments separately and different occasions so the recipient can put on what they want. But I did see over in the Card Maker Success Summit Facebook group that somebody did use this sheet load and they left the sentiment area blank. And that is a great idea to keep those on hand when you're ready for the occasion. I like that. Thank you. Barb P, have you ever thought of doing an envelope making video? Barb, I do have some envelope maker videos on my channel. I don't know that I have a playlist for it, but mostly when I make my envelopes, they're like mini ones. I don't often make an envelope for this size just because I did do a pattern paper purge not too long ago. So any of the pattern paper I have left over that's larger to be able to make this size, I kind of want to use it for cards. But thank you for your question. All right, Diane. For someone who doesn't have stamps, I save old cards and cut out designs and sentiments with decorative scissors and recycle. I love that idea. What a great way to pass those cards on. My mom actually does that sometimes with ladies at her church. So we'll just take the card fronts off and add them. Love it, love it. Reduce, reuse, recycle, right? Especially when we use all this paper. Barb P, would you consider doing a sheet load using stickers as the focal elements? Might be great for those just starting out and don't have stamps and dies and punches yet. Yes, great point. Like I always say, sheet load is a jumping off point for you. You can feel free to make it your own. You know, if I say like a stamped image, you can use a die cut. You can use letter stamps. Like you don't have to have it together. And I will show you about stickers. So again, coming out in just about an hour on my channel is this rewind. And I actually used elements from that kit. So I have some chipboard stickers, but then here was a vellum sticker for the kit. So yeah, use what you have. That's one of the great things about sheet load. You don't need special products. You just need some pattern paper, right? Sherry Y, is there a way to prevent the folded edge of a card from cracking and looking ugly? Well, I used to never score my card bases, but I always do now because I would run into that. Now, even sometimes with scoring, you might get a little cracking. I don't know if it's when the paper's too heavy or too thin. Maybe somebody in the chat can help you out because I can't ever pinpoint what I think it is, but I have definitely lately been scoring all of my cards. And I keep real handy here my mini score buddy. And this is great for card makers because it is just a nice size. So if you don't want that big one. All right. What brand? Oh, sorry. Lyrical Wonders. What brand is a 36-pound vellum you use for card bases? It is Nina. I know that I would have links in my videos where I use it. That video later today is probably going to have, oh, wait, you said the 36. Yeah. All my vellums are Nina. And if you want to reach out, I could tell you like the item number or something. But yeah, later today, I'm using the 28-pound, I think. Thank you. Facebook user, I noticed you have an HTV Ront heat press. How do you like it? Thank you. They actually sent me that to try out, and this apron was a project I made with it. I had never before used a heat press like this. I always had my Cricut, can't think of what it's called, but you know, like the Cricut kind of big iron thing. And I love it. I haven't got to a chance to make my next project yet, but I already have like 3 or 4 in mind. So I think it's probably a good price point too. I've looked at them in the past, and this seems to be pretty reasonable with some that I've looked at. Thank you. Dava Owsley, do you fold into the score or away from the score? So this is what I've always been told, that the bump goes inside of the card. So maybe that's toward. So if you make your bump then that should be on the inside. But we could have all been told differently. There's probably as many answers as there are crafters out there on that one. Thank you. Lynn H., what tools do you use the most? That is a great question. So I am a pretty basic crafter most of the time when I make my sheet loads. So I have to have my trimmer. I use my MISTI as much as I can, especially when I'm mass producing cards. My ATG for my adhesive, and my Score Buddy, and maybe one of my black inks. Those are probably my most used. That's a great question. Thank you. All right. Renee says, I am new to card making. What do you all mean by paperweight? So Renee, okay. So you have like your printer paper, right? It would be a lightweight paper. Then for cards, so they can stand up, you're going to want something a little more sturdy. So it's not going to wiggle as much. It's just the thickness of the paper, how heavy it feels. Thank you. All right. Any last questions? It looks like we got the 5-minute warning. What I can do, I have some other samples that I would love to show you guys because I worked on them. So sheet load is great for mass producing. So if you want to get a start on your Christmas cards, you can do that with sheet load. Here's the same sketch. You can also use different size paper. These cards, I actually picked out 3 pieces of 6x6 paper, and I used those single card dimensions to get 3 cards. And finally, it is also great for scraps. So these 2 cards were just made some scraps I had left over and some ephemera. And you'll notice this one, I rotated the sketch to get a different look. Let me get back up there. All right, Barb P., what is your favorite stage play? Kidding. Yeah, I love Hamilton. How far in advance do you plan sheet load, and do you use software? Yeah, so I have a collaboration team, and I have to get them the new sheet load. So for instance, by March 5th, I will have the April sheet load to them. So I'm about a month out. A month early, so we can all get our stuff ready and our videos done. And then I use Illustrator. I use the Adobe suite to create sheet load, to make the PDFs, and then any photo editing I do for other things. Yeah, thank you. Lyrical Wonders, do you stamp or have a sticker that you put on the back of your card for branding? What would you suggest for this? So I do. I got a 4x4 stamp set, a clear stamp set at rubberstamps.com. So I made 4 on that square and then cut them apart when they came to me. When I ordered this, now I did do the creation, so I didn't have to pay for that. But when I ordered this, it got shipped to me for $13, and I had 4 stamps. So one's an address, 2 are just logos, and then 1 is for the back of my cards. All right. Oh, James R. says, if you look into Card for Cubs and like the programs, will you consider doing a sheet load, encourage others to participate? I will definitely think about it, James. Thank you. Yeah, I'll find out more about it. I know that I do have many subscribers and viewers who already make these to give either to nursing homes or to donate like that. Yeah, thank you. All right. Lady in Red, Michigan. Which Fiskars trimmer did you show us? This is my prized possession, Fiskars. They no longer make it, but I have had tons of trimmers and cutters in the past, and this is my favorite. The ruler's easy to read. It doesn't cut off important measurements, and it's a rotary trimmer, which I prefer since you get more life out of the blade. But unfortunately, they don't sell it anymore. All right, probably maybe one more question, or we might have to start saying goodbye. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I hope that if you haven't yet checked out my presentation, you will do that. And also make sure to check out my YouTube channel. I will have a new sheetload of cards free to my subscribers coming up on the 1st of March. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. And I hope you all have a crafty day. Bye-bye, guys. Have a good one.